Hello everyone, welcome to Magnet Brains. My name is Tess Anajos and we are going to discuss our question answers from the textbook today, right? We are going to do the question answers and the exercises from the textbook. So your first question is, how did Demosthenes react to the laughter and jeers when he was giving his first public appearance? People started laughing at him, right? They made fun of him. How did he react to that? Demosthenes tried to press the humiliation but could not, so he stopped his speech and left the place. Demosthenes ने कोशिश किया कि वो लोगों की आवाज़ जो मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं उस सबको ध्यान न दे, ठीक है, वो उसको इग्नोर करे, बट ही कुड नॉट डू दैट, सो ही स्टॉप्ड द स्पीच एंड लेफ्ट द प्लेस. तो उसने स्पीच बंद करके ही लेफ्ट दैट प्लेस. नेक्स्ट, Why did Demosthenes not trust his guardians? ऐसा क्यों था कि he did not trust his guardians? Demosthenes' father had left him a fortune post his death, but his guardians did not take care of that money and misused it. So, जो Demosthenes के फादर थे उनकी डेथ के बाद उनको बहुत सारा पैसा उन्होंने Demosthenes के लिए छोड़ा था, बट उसके गार्जियंस ने उस पैसों को ध्यान नहीं दिया. They misused it. Then if you want you can add on they were not even left with enough money for Demosthenes education. So उनके पास इतना पैसा भी बाकी नहीं था कि वो Demosthenes को अच्छा एजुकेशन प्रोवाइड कर सके, राइट? So Demosthenes' father had left him with a fortune post his death, but his guardians did not take care of that money and misused it. They were not even left with enough money for Demosthenes' education. ठीक है? Next, why did people make fun of Demosthenes? Demosthenes का मजाक क्यों उड़ाया लोगों ने? People made fun of Demosthenes because he stammered while he spoke. वो अटकता था बात करते करते, इसलिए लोगों ने उसका मजाक उड़ाया. He could not speak properly when he spoke in front of the public. जब लोगों के सामने वो बात करता था तो वो क्लियरली बात नहीं कर पाता था, वो अटकता था, इसलिए लोगों ने उसका मजाक उड़ाया. So people made fun of Demosthenes because he stammered while he spoke. He could not speak properly when he spoke in front of the public. Next, what did Demosthenes learn from Callistratus' speech? Callistratus की speech से Demosthenes को क्या समझ में आया? Demosthenes saw how Callistratus' speech inspired people, how people would start following him. He understood that the power of words is the greatest in the world. He was impressed and inspired by Callistratus. So Callistratus की speech के बाद उसने देखा कि लोग बहुत ज़्यादा इंस्पायर हो रहे हैं इससे, बहुत इम्प्रेस होते हैं, वो इसके पीछे पीछे चलने लगते हैं. तो ये अंडरस्टूड कि लोगों तक अगर बात पहुंचानी है तो यू शुड हैव द पावर ऑफ वर्ड. दुनिया में वर्ड के पावर से ज़्यादा पावरफुल और कुछ नहीं है. इफ़ यू हैव दैट यू कैन मेक पीपल अंडरस्टैंड, मेक पीपल फॉलो यू. सो ही वांटेड टू बिकम लाइक दैट सो दैट ही कुड कीप हिज आइडियाज इन फ्रंट ऑफ पीपल एंड मेक देम फॉलो इट, मेक देम बिलीव इन इट. ओके, सो Demosthenes saw how Callistratus' speech inspired people, how people would start following him. He understood that the power of words is the greatest in the world. He was impressed and inspired by Callistratus. Next, in what ways did the old man and Satyrus inspire Demosthenes? एक old man आया था उसके पास उसके first speech के बाद, and Satyrus was the actor who spoke to him. इन दोनों ने Demosthenes को कैसे inspire किया? After his first failed public appearance, Demosthenes decided not to go on stage ever again. First failed experience के बाद Demosthenes ने decide कर लिया था कि नहीं, अब मैं कभी stage पे नहीं चढ़ूँगा. But the old man came and spoke to him, encouraging him to try again and again. बट एक ओल्ड मैन आता है उसके पास एंड ही टेल्स हिम दैट you cannot fail so fast, you cannot give up so fast, you have to try again and again. Similarly, Satyrus, who was an actor, helped him to improve in his way of delivering speech. Old man ने उसको speech देने के लिए encourage किया and Satyrus ने उसके way of giving speech को change किया, help किया उसको ये समझाने में कि when you give a speech, you don't have to just read it or recite it. You have to act it out so that लोग interest के साथ तुम्हारी बात सुने, right? So after his first failed public appearance, Demosthenes decided not to go on stage ever again. But the old man came and spoke to him, encouraging him to try again and again. Similarly, Satyrus, who was an actor, helped him to improve the way of delivering speech, right? What did Demosthenes do at the seashore? Seashore पे क्या करता था वो? Demosthenes would go Demosthenes would go on the seashore and practice his speech on top of his voice with pebbles in his mouth. What did he do on the seashores? He would speak loudly. उसका speech वो जोर जोर से देता था with pebbles in his mouth. उसके मुंह में pebbles डाल के. Why? Because it helped him to speak more clearly and loud. इससे क्या होता था? उसकी voice जोर से निकलती थी and words clearly निकलते थे. ठीक है? So Demosthenes would go on the seashore and practice his speech on top of his voice with pebbles in his mouth. This helped him to speak more loud and clearly. ठीक है? Now choose the correct answer to complete these sentences. The first orator to impress Demosthenes was, सबसे पहले उसको किसने इंस्पायर किया था? कौन से orator ने किया था? Callistratus. Callistratus का speech सुनने के लिए वो गया था, right? He asked his teacher if he could take him to listen to Callistratus' speech. Next is, as the first step towards becoming an orator, Demosthenes सबसे पहले orator बनने की इच्छा से उसने क्या किया? Studied history, wrote and listened to speeches, went to listen famous orators, took lessons from his tutor. He studied history, he wrote and listened to orators. He studied history, then wrote and listened to orators. Next, after he won the case against the guardians, Demosthenes went on to, after guardians के साथ जो case था वो जीतने के बाद, he went to address people of Greece, speak again in the court of law or speak in the assembly of Athens. Where did he go? He spoke in the assembly of Athens. ठीक है? He spoke in the assembly of Athens. Demosthenes practiced his speech with pebbles in his mouth because मुंह में pebbles रख के वो क्यों practice करता था? It helped in making his speech loud and clear. It helped him in training his breath. It helped him to add drama to his speech. Loud and clear voice के लिए करता था, drama के लिए करता था, या फिर breath को control करने के लिए? It was to make his speech loud and clear. उसका speech को loud and clear करने के लिए. ठीक है? He told him that his speech reminded him of a great orator Perseus. When does the conversation happen? ये कब हुआ ये conversation? The conversation happens after Demosthenes' first public appearance. उसका जो first public appearance था जिसको वो छोड़ के आ गया because he could not complete it. He was laughed at and लोग उसको मजाक उड़ाने लगे, तब ये हुआ. वो वापस आ रहा था and an old man came to talk to him. What do you learn about the old man from this line? वो old man कैसा आदमी था? क्या लगता है आपको? It shows the old man was very wise and compassionate. This shows that the old man was wise. Wise मतलब उसको बहुत समझ थी कि एक person क्या सोच रहा होगा, किस feeling से गुजर रहा होगा. Compassionate, you feel compassion for people when they are hurt. Like अगर आपके किसी फ्रेंड के घर पे एक एक्सीडेंट हो गया, सो यू फील कंपैशन फॉर देम. मतलब एक अरे ये क्या हो गया, इट शुड नॉट हैपन विद देम, आई शुड टेक केयर ऑफ हिम. ये जो फीलिंग है दैट इज कॉल्ड कंपैशन. सो ही न्यू डेमोस्थेनस वुड बी डिसअपॉइंटेड एंड स्पोक टू हिम टू गिव हिम करेज. सो दिस ओल्ड मैन, ही कुड हैव जस्ट लेफ्ट डेमोस्थेनस, है ना, वो ऐसे ही छोड़ सकता था कि जाने दो उसको, बट उसने ऐसा नहीं किया. वो गया उसके पास, उससे बात की, उसको इनकरेज किया, उसको समझाया कि यू कैन नॉट गिव अप सो फास्ट, यू हैव टू कीप ऑन ट्राइंग, है ना. उसको करेज दिया कि यू कैन नॉट लीव इट, जैसा है हो गया तो हो गया सोच के नहीं छोड़ सकते, यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन इट. सो ही वॉज वाइज एंड ही वॉज कंपैशनेट. ही हैड फीलिंग्स फॉर अदर्स. दूसरों का पेन को वो समझ सकता था. ठीक है. A sailor with a foolish story will make them applaud, while if I tell them tales of the glorious deeds of their own countrymen, they do not care. What does Demosthenes think about his people? Demosthenes को क्या लगता है उसके लोग कैसे हैं? Demosthenes feels people do not care about what they listen, they only want to hear about humor. उसको लगता है कि लोगों की गलती है, उनको कुछ सुनना ही नहीं है अच्छा, उनको सिर्फ हंसी मजाक वाली बातें सुननी है. How does Demosthenes feel at that time? Why is it so? उसको क्या फील होता है ये जब लोग उस पर हंसे, उसको वापस आना पड़ा, तो तब उसको क्या लगता है? Demosthenes could not perform as he had planned to. He did not get the expected response from the people, so he was very sad and felt ashamed. उसने सोचा था कि उसका फर्स्ट जो अपीयरेंस होगा वो बहुत अच्छा होगा, उसने इतनी प्रैक्टिस की है, सब बहुत अच्छा जाएगा, लेकिन जब कुछ नहीं हुआ, जो एक्सपेक्टेड रिस्पॉन्स था तब उसको वो नहीं मिला लोगों से, ही वॉज वेरी सैड एंड डिसअपॉइंटेड. ठीक है. उसको बहुत शर्म आने लगी कि यार क्यों मैं वापस आ गया लोगों को बात करने के लिए. ठीक है. ही वॉज वेरी डिसअपॉइंटेड एंड ही फेल्ट अशेम्ड. He could not believe that they were the same lines. Who is with Demosthenes at this point of time? What are they talking about? ये लाइन किसने बोला था? सेटायरस ने, राइट. सेटायरस था उस टाइम पे. क्या बात हो रही थी? Demosthenes was Satyrus. He was an actor. Who was with Demosthenes? He was with Satyrus. And what were they talking about? They were talking about. Wait. Demosthenes was an actor. They were talking about the response, about the poem that both of them just recited. So what were they talking about? They were talking about the poem, lines of the poem that both of them had recited. पहले डेमोस्थेनस ने एक पोएम बोली, सेम पोएम सिटायरस ने भी उसको सुनाया था. So they were talking about that. Why did the same line sound different? एक ही पोएम की एक ही लाइन अलग अलग क्यों साउंड कर रही थी? Demosthenes found the lines different because this is still here, okay? Demosthenes found the lines different because when he recited the lines from the poem, he spoke as if he was reading them, while Satyrus spoke with the voice modulation, expressions of eyes and face. जब डेमोस्थेनस ने ये पोएम बताई तो उसने ऐसे रीड किया जैसे बस रीड कर रहे हैं, मतलब एक बुक में से आप रीड कर रहे हो ना, इट फेल्ट कि उसने सिर्फ रीड किया है. बट जब सिटायरस ने सेम पोएम सुनाई, हाउ डिड ही से इट? ही गेव एक्शंस. उसने अब उसकी आईज का मूवमेंट, उसके फेस का एक्सप्रेशन, उसके हैंड्स के मूवमेंट सब ऐसे थे कि इट फेल्ट ही वाज सेइंग अ कंप्लीट डिफरेंट स्टोरी. उसने एक कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट पोएम सुनाया था, ऐसा लग रहा था. ठीक है. So Demosthenes found the lines different because when he recited the lines from the poem, he spoke as if he was reading it out. ऐसे लग रहा था जैसे वो बस read कर रहा है. But while Satyrus spoke with voice modulations, expressions of eyes and face. Okay, he made the poem more interesting. In the story you just read, Demosthenes progresses from having a fear of failure to someone who is full of confidence. The writer shows us Demosthenes' state of mind through various words and expressions. Some show hope and inspiration, while some show despair and loss. Here are some examples. Hope and inspiration. Okay, the story is about Demosthenes and how he at the starting he is a very shy boy. He does not know how to speak, but later on he becomes a orator. He becomes one of the greatest orators. तो स्टोरी में ऐसे बहुत सारे वर्ड्स हैं जो आपको होप के बारे में भी बता रही है और डिसअपॉइंटमेंट के बारे में भी. सो यू हैव टू फाइंड आउट द वर्ड्स दैट शो यू होप एंड विच शो you what? Despair. Okay, so let's see. We'll underline the words. Okay. Now, as a boy, Demosthenes was shy and delicate. Shy and delicate is also which shows a negative form. Okay, so this shows despair. When he made his first speech, his voice was weak and not clear. Again, this is despair. He stammered. He could hear people laugh and jeer at him. This is again despair. Okay? So these were the words that show you despair. Some of the words. Okay? Now, he tried to press on. So, when you try to avoid something, it can be positive or it can be negative. हो सकता है he had this hope कि if I don't listen to them, I can complete my speech. So, अगर ऐसा होता तो it could have been hope. He could not bear the thought. This is despair. That people found his speech strange and funny. He knew he needed to do something about this, and so began a journey which made him one of the greatest orators. So began a journey is, here it is positive. So this shows you hope. Okay, this one shows you hope. Demosthenes' father was a wealthy sword maker. He died, although his father left him a fortune. Guardians were not careful. They lost some of it and spent of it. Then Demosthenes was angry, again despair. Make him feel he knew that he was learning speaking. Athens had some of the great orators. Had often heard teachers call. Okay, here you don't have anything else. You just have one despair word. Next, one day, not long after, he heard about Callistratus, an orator who everyone admired. Admired is something which goes for hope. Speaking at a great element, heard people talking about Callistratus and begged his tutor to agree, arranged a seat, could see him. The speech was full of power and purpose. Again, this is hope. When Callistratus finished, the Athenians crowded around him and followed him. He was inspired and impressed. Hope, right? He said to himself, I too will become an orator and make people think about what I am saying. Again, this is showing hope. I want to have the power of word to make people agree with me and believe me. Right? So, this is how you are going to do it. ज़रूरी नहीं है पूरा चैप्टर में से निकालना. You just have to find 3. That is enough. We almost did 3 or 4, right? So that is enough. You don't have to completely पूरा बुक में जितना है सब कुछ निकालने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. At least 3 you should know. ठीक है? You should know at least 3. You have to write them here. You can just make columns. One can be for hope and one for despair. You don't have to write it. You have to encircle it in the textbook. जैसे अभी underline किया ना वैसे you have to encircle it. You don't have to write it again. Separately लिखने का ज़रूरत नहीं है. So that is your book exercises. जल्दी ख़त्म हो गया ना? बहुत लंबे आंसर्स नहीं है. They are short answers. They are easy answers. So read the chapter before you start doing your answers, question answers. ठीक है? I will meet you next time with the grammar portion for this chapter. Till then, take care. Bye bye.